regarding the CBI PP, NIA PP, SFIO exam, they are scheduled on 7th. Next month on 7th October, they are scheduled for the preliminary examination. Now the the syllabus has been updated, and you have to go through with the updated syllabus, and that updated syllabus includes the Companies Act 2013. Now in this video we will be discussing about the audit and the auditors, which are given in the Companies Act chapter 10, as well as in the next video we will be discussing about the audits and the auditors MCQ. Who have not downloaded our app, which is Takshshilla Law Academy, link is given in the description box. You can download from the description box link, and we are providing the whole batch regarding CBI PP, NIA PP and SFIO 2023. So whatever the updated syllabus is available, we are providing all the subjects with the MCQs and the lectures of CBI PP, NIA PP, SFIO 2023. Now let's begin with this video. Stay tuned till last of the video, because we will be getting much I will say material from this particular video. So let's begin with this. Now Companies Act, audit and auditors, very important chapter, and before jumping into this chapter, we will be discussing about important topics which are important for your particular this paper. The first is you can write down accounts and companies. Now some of the chapters in particularly in Companies Act, it is very important, that is chapter 9, accounts of companies, audits and auditors. These both chapters are very important. Next is the meeting of boards and its power, chapter 12, and then comes the chapter 14, which is inspection, inquiry and investigation. Next we can say that winding up is a very important chapter regarding Companies Act for CBI, NIA and SFIO. Now let's go through with this particular chapter, which is chapter 10, Companies Act 2023. Now when we talk, I guess there was some issue with the network. Sure, let's begin with this. Now in this particular table I have given both the things. There is the chapter and the relevant rule which is provided under rule Companies Audit Auditors Rule 2014. So यहाँ पे in this the chapter goes through from section number 139 to 148. Go through this chapter. It is a very important chapter. Section 139, it talks about the audit, appointment of auditor. What it talks about? Then it talks about the appointment of auditor, how the appointment of auditor is done. See, in subsection 1, it talks about appointment of subsequent auditor of non-government company at AGM. AGM is annual general meeting. Subsection 2 talks about the rotation of auditors. Subsection 3, it talks about the rotation of auditing partner and his team. Subsection 4, it talks about the power of CG to prescribe the manner of rotation. How will the rotation take place? Next comes the subsection 5, which talks about the appointment of subsequent auditor of government company. This is the overview of the chapter. Next we will be discussing with the flow chart. So you should be aware with the introduction of this particular chapter. 139 subsection 6 is talks about the first auditor of non-government company. 7 talks about the government company. 8 subsection 8, it talks about the filling of casual vacancy. Subsection 9, see, it is very important regarding subsection 9, that is reappointment of retiring auditor. Subsection 10, it talks about no auditor is appointed or reappointed at annual general meeting. This wording is very very important. Next comes the subsection 11, which talks about the consideration of recommendation of audit committee. Next comes your section number 140. 140 says about the removal, resignation of auditor and giving of a special notice. So removal of auditor before expiry of the term, it is in subsection 1. Subsection 2, it talks about the filing of a statement if there is any case of resignation. Subsection 3 talks about the penalty if there is any kind of non-compliance, so there will be a awarding a penalty. Subsection 4, it talks about the removal of auditor on expiry of tenure. See, the auditor has completed his tenure. Now there is a time for the removal of auditor, or there is giving a special notice. Subsection 5, it talks about the direction for change of auditors. 141, if we talk about 141, it talks about the eligibility, qualification and disqualification of auditors. Next comes here section 142, which talks about the remuneration of auditors. 143, if we talk about 143, it is the power and duties of auditors and auditing standards. 144, when we talk about 144 section, it talks about auditor not to render certain services. They are limited to some particular services only. 145 is a very important section which talks about the auditor to sign the audit report. Next comes your 146, which is the auditor to attend the general meetings. They are liable to attend the general meetings. 147 is again a very important section which talks about the punishment for contravention. 148, it talks about the central government to specify audit of item of cost in respect to certain companies, that means the governmental companies. Now when we start with this chapter, that is the very first, it comes with the appointment of auditor. Now auditor may be a subsequent auditor. You have to understand there are two types of auditor in a company. They can be a subsequent auditor, or they can be a appointing for the first auditor. See, when we talk about the subsequent auditor, first we will go